Okay, so this is for my friend G Drizzy. You know who you are. Anyway, talking about God. So why do I follow God? Because this is ultimately going to answer the debate and end the debate that we had, a short debate early this morning. So, is it useless to believe in old text? Sure, you could say that, but guess what? That old text is what defines a lot of the laws we have today. For example, that old text speaks against racism, pedophilia, slavery, and a bunch of other bad things like rape. Just a lot of things. It speaks up against a lot of those things. And that's why we have laws we have today. Because, believe it or not, humans are evil. And they do those things on the go. So if there aren't laws telling them not to do that, they will do it. Believe it or not. Crazy. I know. Everyone's able to understand the Bible. Everyone's able to understand. It's not some mystical thing. Like, someone can read the Bible and understand the teachings. Any atheist can read the Bible and understand the teachings. They do. In fact, atheists read the Bible so well, they try to find fallacies in it. But that goes to show that they're not paying attention to reading the Bible as much as they are paying attention to try to find fallacies with it, which, yet again, they're usually always wrong. And I shouldn't say usually. They are always wrong, because you're not going to win against God in a logical argument. He created logic, so how are you going to win against the guy who created logic? Anyway, getting back to it. So why do I follow God? I don't follow God because it's sunshine and rainbows every day. It's not. Life is still difficult. Life doesn't become magically easier because you follow God. Life changes and it becomes different. God helps you out in life, but it doesn't just become easy. Why would God put it on easy mode? Think about it. If God put life on easy mode for everyone who followed him, then everyone would follow him. And guess what? God doesn't like fake people. Crazy. I know. God does not like fake people. So what does that mean? It means that God is going to still allow you to go through turmoil and suffering in your life. Because guess what? That builds character. Now, he's not going to sit there and just let you take everything you can't take. God's not going to allow you to take something that you can't take. If it's happening in your life and you're dealing with it, you can take it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Right? So let me explain on that more, right? Okay, well, why is he still testing me to do this, that, and that, right? Remember, not everything is because of God. People have free will. People have the free will to do what they want to do. People have the free will to hurt people. People have the free will to steal from people, right? Like, and then sometimes things just happen. Like, guess what? A byproduct of sin is a lot of the diseases we have come from that. A lot of the diseases we have today also come from a lot of inbreeding, which the Bible talks about. The Bible talks about a lot of inbreeding and a lot of the wicked things people did back then. There were a lot of human sacrifices and people sacrificing their children to other false gods, which false gods are just demons who pretend to be gods and then will give humans stuff for sacrificing their children to them. Like, there's plenty of times in the Bible where you'll see other nations would sacrifice their kids. Other nations would do practices to their false gods, and the false gods would do things for them, right? But of course, those are just demons working their magic. God allowed that because, yet again, free will. He allows us to do what we want to do. Now, there were certain times where God stepped in because he said that wasn't going to happen. And he's perfectly capable and okay to do that because he's the creator. He can decide to step in when he wants to. He doesn't owe us anything. We owe him everything. But he still leaves us alone. Imagine someone saving you and then asking you to do something for them, and you say no. And they, instead of like having a fit or doing anything, they let you do what you want. That's what God does. Right? God doesn't strike an atheist down every time they try to disprove God or disclaim God, which he absolutely has the right to do. He has the right to strike me down because of the stuff I've said in the past, but he doesn't do it. One, mainly because my sins have already been paid for, but two, yet again, God just doesn't do that because he limits himself for the sake of us, for the sake of loving us. He limits himself, right? So getting back into it, back to the help thing. When God comes into anyone's life, he chooses to help them, not make life easy mode. Because like I said, if life was easy mode, guess what, G Drizzy? Everyone would be following God. If life was on easy mode, you would be following God without question, because God made your life easy, because God allowed you to pass this test, because God allowed you to get this job, because God allowed you to do this and that and the third, and get this girlfriend and marry this girlfriend and have these kids and be rich, right? Everyone would be doing it if it was easy. It's just the Bible says that the pathway to hell is super wide and super smooth, and the pathway to heaven is super narrow. And it says that not in the sense that, God made it super difficult to get to heaven, because he didn't. He just said it's difficult to stay on that path, but he didn't make it difficult. It's difficult because we as humans are the way we are. And because humans like doing things the easy way, guess what? The road to hell is going to be full of people. Just how it is. It's going to be full of people. Satan can't make hell look nice, but he can sure as heck make the road look nice to hell, which is what he does. He can't make hell look good, but he'll make the way to hell look good. And people will follow it. Even though they see it thousands of meters away, they'll follow it because they don't want to go on that old path that's super narrow and it's hard to stay on. Right? But anyway, getting back to the main point, helping. What is helping? When someone helps you, it means that they don't need to help you. It means they're doing it out of the kindness in their heart, right? For God, he's doing it because he loves you, because he made you and he loves you. So when God helps you, it's because he loves you, not because you deserve it or because you worked hard for it or this, that, and the third. Now, it's not to say that God won't reward someone for their work. No, he does do that. He will. He does do that. Plenty of cases of that. I've experienced that. My parents have experienced that. My dad's definitely an example of experiencing that, right? He worked for 20 years of his life, and now he's in a stable, comfortable job, lives in the house he lives in. I'm able to live in it because I'm his son, obviously, which is a benefit of God, no doubt. And then, he's able to make money, able to come home, go to sleep, live in peace, not have to worry about paying off some kind of college debt or something like that. Not in debt at all. So, yeah. Anyway, God helps you in life. He doesn't make life easy. He allows you life to stay difficult as it is because it builds character. And life might get more difficult as a Christian, not because of anything God does, but because of what people do. When people see a Christian, they make faces, they grunt, they groan, they get upset. They don't want to hear somebody who's telling them what they're doing is wrong. When in actuality, that's what it is. Because if God, as a creator, destined a law and you break it, you're wrong. That's just how it is. He's the creator. You're the creation. Who are you to go against the creator? Generally, that's a question. It's the same situation with your parents, right? But the difference between your parents and God is that God isn't unjust. There are times where your parents can make mistakes and be unjust and not parent properly, but that's not God. God knows how to do things because he created things. Simple as that. And like I said, God is loving, so he's not going to do things out of spite, right? But yet again, what is God helping you look like in life? God can take your burden. Right? And I don't mean to sit there and talk about it in a mystical way like he removes the sadness from your heart. No. He's just there to be helpful. You have the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and then God. Trinity, right? I'll explain that in a different video if that ever becomes necessary to do, which I don't think it will be. But yeah. Like seriously, bro, I don't really know what else to say about that, really. God dictates everyone's story, right? And yet again, going back to the satisfactory experience. Guess what? I don't have a great satisfactory experience, but it's not because God did anything. It's because I'm living on this earth. And guess what? This earth is inhabited by people like me. And because there's people like me, they'll do stuff that just won't satisfy me, right? Like, I can promise you that if humans acted correctly and followed God's laws, your satisfactory experience, your experience of satisfactory on this earth would be amazing. But guess what? People don't follow God's laws. People steal, people cheat, people lie, people kill, people hurt other people, people sexually assault people, people are racist towards people, people enforce slavery on people, right? And because we do all those things, that's why life's not satisfactory. That's why. It's not because of anything God did. It's because everything humans did. So everything that happens on this earth is man's fault, not God's fault. So if your experience hasn't been satisfactory, don't look at God. Look at everyone around you. If humans wanted to, they could really sit down and be like, okay, guys, let's fix the world. But guess what? That never happens. And we know that won't happen because at the end of the day, we're all corrupt. We all want our own things. We all want to do our own things, right? And that's what it is at the end of the day. Everyone wants to be their own God. Everyone wants to be God. And because everyone wants to be God, guess what? There can't be that many gods, especially when we're not actually gods. We're just humans. We're a creation. So, of course, when we try to be God, things go wrong. And things go wrong. Give you an example. World War II nor World War I did not have to happen. That's a perfect example of man trying to play God. There are plenty of other perfect examples I can give, but I don't need to go there. Yet again, I don't follow God because I said life would be easy. I don't tell anyone. Whenever I share the gospel with anybody, I don't sit there and tell them life is easy. That's not the goal. That's a lie. Anyone who's told you that is lying to you. And I'm sorry if they have told you that, because that's not what the case is. Right? God calls you because he loves you and he wants to save you. But if you don't want to be saved, go ahead. J. Cole said it best. Don't save them. They don't want to be saved. So that's exactly what God will do. He'll leave you alone. He'll let you do what you want to do. He will give you the free will to do so. If you want to sit there and ignore the signs, if you want to sit there and be like, I don't have enough evidence, that's completely up to you. That's your choice, bro. If you don't want to use the lane bumpers that God's going to give you to salvation, go ahead, bowl, and see how many strikes you get. Guess what? You're never going to get enough strikes to pay for your salvation. That's something only Jesus can do. And in fact, I like that analogy a lot. I might use that more often. Bowling alley, right? You have bumpers that allow you to get a perfect strike, but you don't want to use the bumpers because there's, oh, I have to do this to use the bumpers. Oh, I have to do this to use the bumpers. Guess what? Jesus didn't sit there and give you 1,000 rules to follow. There was a lot more than 10 commandments. There's a lot more than 10 commandments, but Jesus didn't say all that. He just told you to do two things. Love your neighbor as yourself and love God above all others. So what is loving your neighbor as yourself and loving God above all others? What does that mean? It means treating people like how you want to be treated. Don't lie to people. Don't cheat on people. Don't bribe people, right? Or I shouldn't say don't bribe people. Sorry, no. Don't lie to people. Don't cheat to people. Don't give them misinformation. Don't bear false testimony against your neighbor, stuff like that. And when I say stuff like that, I shouldn't say stuff like that, but I'll explain more in depth. Treat people how you want to be treated, right? You won't cheat on people because you don't want to be cheated on. You'll love people because you want to be loved. You will do good things to people because you want people to do good things to you, right? And then loving God. If you love God more than you love people, you'll treat people correctly. I can promise you that. I've tried loving people on my own back when I was atheist. It didn't work. People suck. But guess what? God helps me understand how much I suck and how much people suck. And guess what? We all suck. But God tells us this. I love you, so you should love them. Right? And who am I to sit there and say no? Because he loves me, and if I judge someone for whatever they're doing, whatever the case may be, literally whatever the case may be, I look stupid because chances are I've done something worse than them, or I'm in the same boat as they are. So God tells me to stop hating on that person just to love them, right? Because that's all anyone wants in this life. Drizzy knows what I'm talking about. That's all anyone wants in this life, to be loved. That's what it is at the end of the day. People want money, and at the end of the day, when they're done with the money, they want love at the end of the day. People search for everything in the world, but at the end of the day, what they want is love, and they can't find that here on Earth because it's just not how it works. We don't know what love is on Earth. We have a weird conception of it, but you know what? This video's gone on long enough. I've answered the main question of the debate, and I've talked about the main point. I know one thing I was mentioned that by Drizzy is that he wanted evidence of the Bible besides the Bible. There's plenty of atheists out there who agree with the fact that the Bible is historically accurate. Just look it up. It's not that hard. I'll send you plenty of links in the description if you want that. But yeah, this is where Drizzy, and anyone else who wanted to listen to this who's atheist or who's agnostic. I'm a debater, so if you legitimately want to debate in the comments, that's what's going to happen. I'm a debater, so I will sit there all night long debating. But I won't make this much longer, so yeah. This is for Drizzy. Hopefully, I'm not bothering you too much. I honestly don't expect you to listen to this, but if you do, cool.